Hello everybody, today is the 16th of May 2025. Welcome again to another short video courtesy of investingsuccess.ca. In today's video, I want to look at the concept, the unit of measure called Right Ascension. Now, to very quickly show you the mathematics behind Right Ascension, let's consider the fact that there are 24 hours in one rotation of the planet Earth about its axis, and that's why we have a 24-hour day. Next, consider that there are 360 degrees in the zodiac wheel, and so if we do some simple math, if we take 360 divided by 24, that gives us a figure of 15. So therefore, every time we have a 15-degree movement on the zodiac wheel, every 15 degrees is 1 hour of right ascension. And that's as simple as it gets, and that's what you have to know to apply what I'm about to show you. Back in the 1930s, and I've talked about this in my previous videos, there was a gentleman by the name of George Bayer. He had arrived in New York 1899 from Germany. He came to the New World armed with a lot of astrology knowledge. Where he got it, he never did say. He made a comfortable living trading things like wheat futures, and he always used astrology. Now, thankfully, in the 1930s, he published some of his rules, and he showed people how he used the planets to arrive at buying and selling decision points when he was trading. One of his rules was what he called rule number 9A. He said, you got to look at the planet Mars, and you have to look at its right ascension. So, for example, when Mars is at 15 degrees of Aries in the zodiac wheel, 15 divided by 15 equals 1. So Mars at 15 of Aries is the same as saying Mars is at 1 hour of right ascension. Let's say that Mars was at 30 degrees of Aries. It's just about ready to move into the next sign of Taurus. 30 divided by 15 equals 2. So you could say that, yeah, Mars is at 30 degrees of Aries, or you could say Mars is at 2 hours of right ascension. Mars passing 15 degrees of Taurus, that's actually 45 degrees on the zodiac wheel. So 45 divided by 15 is 3. So you could say, yeah, Mars is at 15 of Taurus, or you could say Mars is at 3 hours of right ascension, and so on and so on. So what Bayer said in his rule number 9A, he said just focus on the whole number, integer amounts of right ascension. So he said just focus on Mars being at 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours of right ascension. Anytime it's at one of those whole number values of right ascension, something is going to happen. Could be a swing bottom, could be a swing top. The trend, whatever it is, could suddenly just go sideways. There could be many things. There could be a gap up in the price. There could be a gap down. The existing trend, whether it's bullish or bearish, could suddenly gather a whole lot of momentum and really get going in a meaningful way. Something is always going to happen when Mars is at these whole number right ascension points. Let's look at a couple examples. First one I'm going to show you is gold futures, and this one goes back to 2024. And so you can see in this chart, on the 4th of November, 2024, Mars was at 0 degrees of Leo. Do the math. That's actually 8 hours of right ascension. So Bayer says something's going to happen. Well, let's take a closer look here. Literally 2 days prior to Mars passing 8 hours of right ascension, look what happened. The price of gold made a little swing top. And from there, the price of gold actually went from about 2,800 down to just under 2,600. That's a fairly meaningful decline. And that would have been enough to get gold mining stocks to also decline. Now, the pink rectangle that you see, that's Mars going retrograde. So that kind of interrupts our mathematical flow of numbers here. So we have to skip over the Mars retrograde period. And eventually we get back on track. And in the third week of April 2025, you've got Mars at 0 degrees of Leo again. That's 8 hours of right ascension. So Bayer says 8 hours of right ascension, that's a whole number. Something's going to happen. Well, yeah, look what happened. Price of gold hit a very notable swing high peak reversal point. Intraday, it got up to like $3,500 an ounce. We haven't seen that price level since then. And right now, the trend on gold is very soft. And that is confirmed and evidenced by the slow stochastic. So now, what does the future hold? The next whole number of right ascension is going to occur next week, May 21st. So I say to you, keep your eye on the price of gold. Next week, May 21st, something is going to happen. Maybe the downtrend comes to an end and we get a reversal and gold starts heading higher. Maybe the downtrend takes a pause and gold starts drifting sideways. Maybe the downtrend really starts to gather momentum and we really get going to the downside. Something's going to happen. The technical analysis will tell you what's happening. So take a look at things like the stochastic, the MACD, apply some moving averages to the chart of gold, and you can very quickly see for yourself which way the travel is going to be. Do we continue lower or do we suddenly turn around and go higher? But next week is it. Another example I'm going to show you here is the US dollar. And again, if we go back to Mars at 0 degrees of Leo early November in 2024, Bayer said, hey, something's going to happen. Well, take a look at it. There was a very nice inflection point. And coming out of that Mars at 8 hours of right ascension event, look what happened to the US dollar. It rallied. Now we're going to skip ahead because we had the retrograde stuff going on. Third week of April, Mars was again at 8 hours of right ascension, 0 degrees of Leo. Bayer says something's going to happen. Well, take a look at the chart. There it is. Beautiful swing bottom. And since then, the price of the US dollar index has been rallying. Something's going to happen around about the 21st of May. The trend right now on the US dollar obviously is bullish, and the stochastic is telling you that. So what's going to happen on the 21st? Who knows? Maybe the US dollar declines and retests its April lows. Then again, maybe it takes off like a scared rabbit and goes up. Then again, maybe it just goes sideways. Something is going to happen next week vis-a-vis the US dollar, which will then impact commodity prices in general and other currencies. So keep your eye on next week. One final example I'm going to leave you with, NASDAQ. Again, if we go back to early November 2024, NASDAQ had been rallying. It took a bit of a pause in late October. Mars at 8 hours of right ascension comes along, and all of a sudden, NASDAQ has a pop to the upside, pulls back a little bit, but then just keeps on going, and it makes a pretty notable high. Moving into here and now, third week of April, the price of NASDAQ had come down early in April over tariff concerns. It did rally. It came back down. All of a sudden, Mars passes 8 hours of right ascension, and look what happens. Boom. NASDAQ just explodes like a scared rabbit. Everybody's clamoring after tech stocks once again, pushing NASDAQ higher. Something's going to happen next week, May 21st. The stochastic is certainly above its upper boundary line, so strong bullish trend is in place. Here's what I'm looking at. We are now approaching Fibonacci 78.6% retracement of the big decline that ended around about the 9th of April. So normally when things retrace 78.6%, that is typically where they take a break and pull back a little bit. So I'm expecting something to develop with the tech stocks next week. Probably, I'm not expecting a crash or anything silly like that. I would expect NASDAQ will just start drifting sideways as people assess, what were the first quarter earnings and what are the second quarter earnings forecasted to be, and so on and so forth, before they decide, what is the suitable value for NASDAQ going forward. So that's Bayer's rule number 9A. You can apply this at home. Just remember, take your ephemeris tables, look at the geocentric position of planet Mars, take that number of degrees, divide that by 15. That gives you the hours of right ascension of Mars, but only look at the whole number values. 8 hours of right ascension, 9 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours. Find those dates on a price chart, and you can sort of lay out a bit of a roadmap for when to expect potential swings and pivots and changes in trend on stocks, commodities, major indexes. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you kindly for listening to this short little video. And as always, you can find me at investingsuccess.ca. I've got a few courses on udemy.com. Lots of things on the go. I just wish I had more time to do more, but I don't. So stay tuned to this YouTube channel, and there will be more of this stuff to come. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.